Hi, I'm Daniel, and this is my audience Eric, Michaela, and Aubrey. Hi there, I'm Daniel, and today I'm going to talk about nuclear power, how it works, its benefits, and its disadvantages. Nuclear power stands on the border between humanity's greatest hopes and its deepest fears for the future. Essentially, nuclear power seems quite simple. Nuclear fusion heats water to generate steam. The steam turns turbines connecting to a generator, which then turns produce electrical power. It's basically the same process as a coal-fired generator. However, it's just using what is very, very unstable fuel. Nuclear fusion is the splitting of atoms, a process in which a great deal of energy in the form of heat is produced. Where things get complex are the controls and resources needed to keep the fusion reaction safe. Have you ever wondered what happens inside a nuclear power plant? Just imagine following a volt of electricity back through the wall socket, all the way through miles of power lines to the nuclear reactor that generated. You encounter the generator that produces a spark and the turbine that turns it. Next, you find the jet steam that turns the turbine, and finally the radioactive uranium bundle that heats water into steam. Now you have entered the nuclear reactor's core. There are quite a few benefits for the use of nuclear energy. Nuclear energy is the world's largest source of emission-free energy. Nuclear power plants produce no controlled air pollutants such as sulfur or greenhouse gases. The use of nuclear energy is in place of other energy sources helps to keep the air clean, preserve the Earth's climate, avoid ground level ozone formations, and prevent acid rain. Of all energy sources, nuclear energy has perhaps the lowest impact on the environment, including water, land, habitat, species, and air resources. Nuclear energy is the most eco-efficient of all energy sources because it produces the most electricity related to its environment impact. According to the Community Science Action Guide, each year the U.S. nuclear power plants prevent 5.1 million tons of sulfur dioxide, 2.4 million tons of nitrogen oxide, and 164 million metric tons of carbon from entering the Earth's atmosphere. This is a good benefit for the world because it slows down global warming and also helps keep the air clean. Also, nuclear power plants do not take up much land. To build the equivalent of a 1,000 megawatt nuclear plant, a solar park would have to be larger than 35,000 acres, and a wind farm would have to be 150,000 acres or larger. The Millstone Units 2 and 3 nuclear power plants in Connecticut have an installed capacity of over 1,900 megawatts of power on a 500 acre site designed for 3 nuclear power plants. This would be a great benefit for an environment that is inhabited by many animals. However, there are some disadvantages to the use of nuclear power. It takes a long time to plan and build a nuclear power plant that is safe and efficient. In addition to the time it takes to plan and build a nuclear power plant, a lot of money has to be spent to make sure that the plant is safe. Unsafe plants mean that there are more likely to be accidents. There has been accidents due to nuclear power plant, for instance, Chernobyl. If While the Chernobyl accident occurred decades ago, its legacy continues and may even worsen if the old plant isn't properly dealt with. Even today, an exclusive zone of approximately 20 miles exists from the Chernobyl reactor, and estimates are the region will not be safe for agricultural purpose for 200 years. A nuclear meltdown can be caused by a number of issues, such as failure in the plant's cooling system. Beyond the meltdown, the worst case scenario is when the containment structures have failed, they may rupture due to a build of steam pressure inside. At this point, dangerous levels of radioactive can be released as soon in the case of Chernobyl, affect a very wide area. The production of nuclear power plants produce a lot of waste material. The waste material is extremely hazardous and difficult to dispose of safely. Most radioactive waste produced by a nuclear power plant is kept on a site or is buried underground in huge concrete pits. The waste has to be carefully looked at after for many thousands of years. The worst disadvantage is that nuclear power can be used as a weapon. Some forms of nuclear reactors, known as breeder reactors, produce plutonium, which can be used to make nuclear weapons, most likely in the form of a dirty bomb. A dirty bomb is a conventional explosive mixed with radioactive mixed materials that with the intention of spreading the material across a wide area to do massive damage. This is a major downfall for nuclear power because if all its nations decide to use it as a weapon, it can become the extinction of the human race as we know it. Now that you better understand and know more of nuclear power, it can be a great benefit to the world and life as we know it. However, it can also be the unfortunate demise of all living things if not used properly.